This is going to be a fairly long recording. I am going to try and summarize the vast majority of what I've learned in the last 90 days of crypto learning. And I want to start with a little bit of a background. So it's going to be kind of like a podcast. So either use the table of contents in the description below if you want to jump to different parts that you're interested in, or kick back, relax, and I'll see if I can summarize 90 days of learning into a reasonable amount of time. During the Cold War of the 1960s and 70s, there was the development of what would become the foundations of the internet, the ARPANET. And one of the things that was fundamentally designed into it was decentralization. The idea that if you were to be attacked by some sort of enemy, you wouldn't want to have one location that could be destroyed and would bring down your communications network. And you wanted to be able to have your military complex and your universities and your research complex all able to continue to communicate even if one spot was blown up. So that was a critical concept and a critical foundation built into how we share information, upload and download, and connect with each other. And by the 1980s, you started to have lots of these nodes that would start to form, and you'd have servers effectively connected, and then people with terminals or computers that would be able to connect to them through their phone lines. And it even started to enter into the general public, where you had bulletin board systems that would connect people with a computer and a phone line. And on those bulletin boards, they could post information, they could upload a file, download a file, they could play different games with each other. But it wasn't the easiest interface, but you could connect with people around the world. By the late 1980s, Tim Berners-Lee, who was a researcher at CERN, a nuclear facility, he proposed something he called the World Wide Web, all one word, and in conjunction with some of the hyperlinking systems that was being developed at the time. HTML was being developed at the time, and he wanted to have basically a way that all files, all the information would have network addresses, and you could use something he called a browser in order to, there's like a script language that could direct the computer where to look for certain files, so that it basically, what was becoming the internet was becoming so cluttered you couldn't, and filled with information. It was just too hard to navigate, and it needed to get all organized, and it happened. Then you have Microsoft and Apple developing user graphics, user interfaces. So it's not just about a black screen and typing text, but you could actually use a mouse. Well, Apple and Microsoft didn't actually develop it. I think it was developed by Xerox, and then discarded by Xerox executives for lack of vision. And Apple and Microsoft were able to capitalize on it. Pirates of the Silicon Valley, excellent movie. If you haven't seen the movie, you should watch Pirates of Silicon Valley. Alrighty, so that's all wonderful. More and more people are joining in. We have into the 90s, the beginning of commercialization, and with commercialization comes the good and the bad, and we end up with a rush, a massive rush, the dot-com bubble. You have intense speculation. You have the ability for anybody in the world to access it. You have the graphics user interface, and this really parallels what I think we're experiencing right now in the crypto world. It's gone from being something you need to do on a Linux machine and have a text line interface to apps that allow you to have a nice, easy graphical interface to be able to access. And we see this climb like we saw in 1999. Of course, we all know that this is what's happened. And you end up with the famous 2002 dot com bubble burst, and I think it's something like 95% of the companies go under. And also, it's interesting, the ones that survive aren't necessarily the ones that were there at the beginning. The ones that survive, some of them, like Google, didn't even go public till like 2004. So they're either forming during this, or some even form after. So it's more than just first out of the gate. There are certain fundamentals that need to be happening, and I would imagine certain teams and venture capital money and so on that needs to happen in the background in order to provide that liquidity. There were a few, as they say, went to the moon and had, 1,000 times increase in their stock value and shares and so on. We're seeing similar sort of thing happening with tokens and coins, where you are looking for either day swinging or short swinging to get those trades. Okay, so if we're on the left-hand side of the rise and fall, and then rise again, and then fall and rise again of the cryptocurrency world, there are the questions then, well, what can you do with cryptocurrency? What is blockchain? What is a Bitcoin? And some of these sorts of things. So I'm going to go through the adventure and show you how I'm understanding things. Feel free to place comments in the comment section if you have a better way to explain something, or if you have other things that you think I should be looking at to better understand what's going on. I'll want to start with just some acronyms that you'll hear and see. The first one is fear of missing out. And what happens is, as things are going up, people get excited. They're like, oh, I don't want to miss out. And they kind of just panically create an account and upload my personal information and buy, try and spend something. And then you end up with a bit of a dip that starts to happen afterwards, and they start to have fear, uncertainty, and doubt, or FUD. And then they see their profits or their contributions drop by 10, 20%. They panic and then they sell. And so what they've done is they've bought on the way up and they've sold on the way down and been driven by emotion. You really don't want to be driven by emotion. There's so many scams. There's so many things going on in the crypto world that as soon as you feel yourself excited and having that rush and you just got to make something happen and so on, that's a huge signal to stop. You really need it to be, you've made your decision, you've done your research, and you're going to try something, a small amount, an amount that you're willing to lose. If it's kind of like the money that you would spend on lottery tickets. And at no point should you ever, if you were to lose it all, be in a bad situation, realizing that you're going to end up, this whole thing at a certain point, we're going to end up much lower than we started, but then it will climb back up again. Okay. The other acronym to know is KYC, which is Know Your Customer. So I'm doing this from Canada, and the main crypto companies that I'm looking at all have KYC, Know Your Customer. So whether you signed up with ShakePay, Newton, Atomic Wallet, Trust, Coinberry, Bitbuy, these all require you to upload your driver's license, take a picture of yourself, put in your address, provide a copy of a phone bill or something that has your address on it, and so on. And this is primarily to eliminate money laundering and these kind of things. And I know people feel like, well, if it can't be done anonymously, then that defeats the point of blockchain and cryptocurrency. And there is that aspect to it, yes. But we also are wanting it to, maybe we are wanting it to grow in popularity and be able to be used by anyone in the general public. And if that's going to happen, it's going to have to be regulated. And we need it to be regulated in a way that it can stay open and stay encrypted and so on. But we also need it to be able to scale so that everyone can use it. Okay, so KYC, know your customer. The other area is DeFi, decentralized finance. That's one you'll see often, DEFI. And a lot of what we're doing is like finding ways to invest the currency that or the altcoin that you're using, alternative coin other than Bitcoin, and earn some interest, lend it to someone. So this is all decentralized finance. Okay, so if you are in Canada and you are looking to get into the cryptocurrency, there are 4 main apps. I know there's sort of a 5th and a 6th, but they're not really ready, or anyways, I'm not choosing them within my experience. If I was to just pick one, I would pick ShakePay. And in part because ShakePay is clean and simple. You have the ability to turn your Canadian fiat, there's another word, fiat, the Canadian printed money, into either Bitcoin or Ethereum. And ShakePay has a reasonable spread, just over 2%. So there are some that are cheaper. But if, as an on-ramp, and that's what I've come to realize all these Canadian apps are, is on-ramps. There are ways to get my fiat money into a Bitcoin or an Ethereum based coin at a reasonable fee. I know Coinbase is super popular. Binance is super popular. Some of these sort of exchange platforms, all-in-ones, but they charge a lot of money. You use a credit card, they're taking 4 or 5% right off the top. And then they have, in Coinbase's example, you have really high spreads. You're just losing so much money for the convenience of on an all-in-one program when you can use something like ShakePay and e-transfer your funds in there for free and then buy it. And of course, I haven't done my daily shake, so I will today. And I will earn some free Satoshis. Now, a Satoshi, if you take a Bitcoin and you break it into small pieces, 10 to the negative 8, so 0.000, so 7 zeros and a 1 of a Bitcoin, and that's a Satoshi. And by shaking my phone, I just earned 6,980 Satoshis. 25 days in a row I've done my shake, and that will result in my Bitcoin amount going up. I haven't actually played around too much with the Bitcoin. I find the network transaction fees a little high, which I'll explain about later. So all of the Bitcoin that you see there is just from shaking my phone. So that's kind of fun. And that more than offsets the cost of buying the Ethereum with the ShakePay spread. Anyways, in the description, I'll outline the 4 main Coinberry, Bitbuy, ShakePay, and Newton as on-ramps. And I'll also put in the referral links, of course, where you can get some bonus money, and I get a little bonus money if you sign up through the referral link. Some of the other choices. So Newton, the idea with Newton is you are able to buy and sell more than just Bitcoin, Ethereum. They have other choices. So does Bitbuy, and so does Coinberry. They also offer other tokens that you can buy, and so does Newton. So you're able to on-ramp directly into some of these other coins and tokens. What I'm finding, though, is you're more often going to be exchanging to find these other tokens on a true exchange like KuCoin or Kraken or Coinbase or Binance or IDEX, as opposed to doing it inside an on-ramp. Even within their wallets, which I'll explain later on too, you can exchange. So everywhere you can exchange for tokens and coins. I think the best way to do it is to do it on something that's designed to do that particular task, because they end up being way cheaper, like 0.1% versus 3% or 2%. So anyways, I'll do it all in the video today. So e-transfers, they are instant, and most of them charge no fee. Once you've bought your Ether and you have it, whether you have it inside an app or you an on-ramp app that you've purchased it through, or you have transferred it over to a wallet. So let's say I've sent my funds into a wallet. Okay, so I have in my wallet here a whole bunch of different things that I've ended up buying. I've bought some Ethereum, as you saw on that ShakePay, and I've also bought some other things. The question becomes, what can I do with all these things? So I'm going to go through 9 things at least that you can do. And if you look at the table of contents, you can kind of see each of these things written out. I can hodl, which means to hold for a long time. I can stake, which means to put the funds up to be used for a particular purpose, maybe providing liquidity for an exchange to work, or maybe it's being put up to be able to help validators get paid for their transactions and so on. So I put it up, and in return, I get a portion of those, all the fees that are earned back, kind of like an interest rate. But it's really more like a cooperative and profit sharing. But anyways, I can speculate it. That's the third thing. I can donate it and or support other projects or lend it in order to earn some interest on it. I can use it as a way to join a community and engage in discussions about where the future of the internet lies and other things. I can get scammed. I can become a fool and be parted with my money. I can buy things and do things. Number 8, I can solve problems. And some very interesting problems can be solved through blockchain and cryptocurrency. So I'm going to go through each one and how it would work. So if I was to leave my Bitcoin in ShakePay, oh, there, it just went up from me shaking today. If I was to go into and just leave these funds in ShakePay, I don't actually have this Bitcoin. This $15 in Bitcoin is sitting somewhere in the company that runs ShakePay. It's sitting in a wallet that they have somewhere. If ShakePay was to go bankrupt, this money would be gone. Or if ShakePay just decided to take the money and run, the money would be gone. So they have custody of my money. They are custodial. This is why when I read some of the forums and people are complaining about, say, Coinberry, holding their funds as they're trying to transfer from one location to another, because they've put in some fake ID, or their address doesn't match their bank account or whatever. They have to realize that if they have a large sum of money, $100,000 worth of coin that I'm moving, they really should not be using an on-ramp. They should be using an actual wallet, which we'll talk about the difference. And one of the things being that they're non-custodial. So this is custodial. They have our money. If you think about it, they have the keys to the house. Okay? In fact, let's talk a little bit about that. So when you look at your funds, there is a private key and a public key or address. Think about it as your house. Your house has a public address. Your neighbors know what your public address is. And in fact, your neighbors if you have mail delivered to your house, I don't, but if you do, the neighbors can see the person coming up to your house and dropping off the mail or the package that you ordered online. And they can see the comings and goings. But if you have a decent system, the mail's not just being dropped off on your porch, but the mail's going into some sort of slot that goes down into this complex underground bunker. There's no way for them to know, and you live down in that bunker and you never come out. There's no way for them to know who you are. Or if you're the only one that has keys to be able to access and codes and, the biometric detection to be able to get down into that bunker, even though they can see this envelope of money being dropped down into your bunker, they can't actually access that. It's totally private. They'd have to have your keys to be able to get in there and access the funds. And that's kind of like, that's how a wallet works. I'll go over to the wallet. A wallet, you end up with private keys, as you can see in here, to be able to access your funds. And there's a 12-word seed or 12-word phrase that is developed randomly to form your wallet. Nobody can get into your wallet unless you give them your 12-word phrase. So if you form a wallet and you have your 12 words, two things are really critically important. One, you store those 12 words in a way that you'll never lose it. Okay, and you can email it to yourself. Of course, they say not to do that because if somebody hacks your email, they'll have your 12-word phrase. You can write them on a piece of paper, store them in a bank vault. Okay, yeah, sounds, I only have a few $100s in there, so it sounds like I'll be spending more money on the bank vault fees than I would on the profits I'd be making. Firebox. Anyways, you have your system. Keep track of your 12-word phrase when you create a wallet. Do not lose it. Make sure you can, in the future, if you had to, find that phrase so that you can recover your wallet and access everything that's in there. So even if Atomic went under, I would be able to access all these funds, provided that they're not like corrupt and have a keylogger and have kept track of everything that I've done. But it should be fully not visible to Atomic. So even if they went under, I would be able to get all of my funds by restoring my wallet in a different service. I have lots of wallets to choose from. In fact, I did one of the other videos, I do a wallet review, and I compare Atomic with Exodus with Trust, I believe. And then, of course, since then, people have mentioned, and I've come across another wallet called Argent. I'm really looking forward to doing a review on it and may end up using it, and so on. There's Stellar, which is more of an exchange wallet. Okay, so let's take a look at some transactions that I've actually done. So if I go into the Ethereum, yes, I bought it on ShakePay or Newton or Coinberry or Bitbuy, and then I transferred over to this wallet or other spots. And if I tap on my transactions, so let's take a look at this 0.4, I can get the address that it was sent to, and I can also see a whole lot of informations. Etherscan.io. Definitely want to create an account with Etherscan. It's free, and you can see somebody came to this from this address, went to this address, and they deposited $91, and they paid 22 cents in order to do that. It's all public. If you now look up this address, you'll find that, oh, hey, now you can start to tag, oh, there's me, and you'll be able to see when I'm moving money in or out, what address I'm going to. You can watch my car drive from my house to the neighbor's house and be like, that car, it's always going from there to there. What are they doing? Who is that? Those questions you can't answer. But the public key, it was a critical piece in enabling all of this crypto exchanging possible. So this fee that I paid down here, you'll see it says 0.000945 Ether. So a piece of the coin it cost me in order to do this, which was about 22 cents. And those are called, sometimes you'll see them as gas fees or GWEI, Gwei, and 10 to the 9. So a 1 with 9 zeros. So like a billion. A billion of these GWEIs is equal to 1 ETH. So sometimes you'll see a recommended fee of 21,000 GWEI in order to make a transaction happen. Now, why am I paying for that? Well, in order for it to work, in order for me to be able to send money from one wallet to another wallet, I need to use effectively an internet that is composed of a bunch of computers that are connected and have a file on them, which is sort of the master ledger, so that it can keep track of the money. And this is the beauty of the blockchain, is it solved the problem. Well, even let's just back up a little bit here. Let's go and look back at ShakePay. The Bitcoin itself, In 2008, 2009, we had another big crash that happened. We had the Lehman Brothers go bankrupt and a few other financial institutions go bankrupt. We had people overborrowing beyond the value of their homes, and we had the governments printing money. You just start looking at like Venezuela and hyperinflation and fiat currencies. Just the centralized model clearly had some significant problems, and it was in that environment that in 2009, a Satoshi Nakamoto, whether that's a person or a group of people, anyways, I won't go down that rabbit hole, but developed what was the idea of what would become the blockchain. And blockchain is basically, you can think of it however you understand the internet, you can understand blockchain that way in many ways. A whole bunch of computers that are connected to each other. You type in an address like to go watch a YouTube video, and you don't really care where that YouTube video is coming from, which computer is sending you the signal. You just want the YouTube video to work. And I can watch the same video while you watch it. Well, what if I want it to be that I just sent you just had access to one thing? Maybe I want to send you a picture, but you want to know that this is the only copy of that picture and there's no other copy of that picture. Or maybe you want to think of it as a vote. You want a bunch of people to be able to vote, and they're going to vote on something, but you want them to have only one vote. You don't want them to be able to be like, oh, I'm going to copy my vote, kind of like I would copy a picture, so that I can get two votes in, or so on. There's so many examples we'll talk about later on. But you want to be able to have that confirmation that this is a unique item, and you want to be able to bundle something in that item, some sort of information that you want to put in there and send it from one location to another. You need a whole lot of computers connected, and each of those computers need to all agree on, or at least in this case, more than 50% of the computers need to all agree on what is the true file. So if you think about a Bitcoin as being some sort of super duper password that is like a little package that has something in it, some piece of information, and you want to send it from one location to another location, and you don't want it to be in two locations at the same time. As you can with digital files, you can copy them, right? You don't want to be able to copy it. You want it to be something that you move around. So Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever they are, develops this idea of a blockchain and solves the problem of people being able to copy files, basically, if you want to think of it that way. So this then gives the ability to create cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. And the way the Bitcoins are formed are through a process called mining, where you have your computer run and solve really complex mathematical problems in order to create these super duper passwords that can maybe a little file that you can tack some information into, and each one is unique. And you have all these other computers that are saying, yes, that is the true unique coin, that is the true unique coin, and they're being made. It's very expensive to mine these coins, or to create these passwords, or to solve these math problems, however you want to look at it. You need the computer, and you need a lot of electricity. And myself, coming into this, I'm not really excited about the mining, and I'm not really excited about the high transaction fees that you often find on Bitcoin. Moving Bitcoin from one spot to another often costs more money than I'm willing to pay. It'd be like $7 or $5. Well, I'm only moving $40 or $50. That defeats the point. So a new concept that's come out is called proof of stake. And proof of stake means all of the coins are set up at the beginning. You're not needing to mine them anymore. Or that's part of the concept. But more importantly, the proof of stake is you put up coins at stake in order to keep all the computers connected, validating what is true and what is not true, and you get a reward. You get a portion of the network fees or the validator fees in order to do that. The blockchain is all of these connected computers that are validating or confirming what is a true file, what is not a true file, and if you run one of these computers, when somebody does a transaction, you get a portion of the money that they will, or the currency that they will pay in order to do the transaction that they're trying to do. If you believe in the future of cryptocurrency, and you see that even though it's at it's got in the realm of billions of dollars, that as it becomes fully implemented, as it's clearly in a growth stage right now, you buy some crypto, and say with whatever on-ramp program you want to use, then you send it over to a wallet, and in the wallet you let it sit. You hodl is what they say. It's kind of like a hold, but a really long hold. You hodl, and it will just sit there, and you're going to come back in a couple years or check in every now and then to make sure your password is good and look for that 100 times increase or 1,000 times increase. Okay, the next thing, part 2 of what to do with crypto, is staking. So staking is relatively new, at least as far as I understand, it's relatively new, and you can't stake in an on-ramp application. You have to stake with effectively wallets, or some of the exchanges will allow you to do it too, but they're acting like a custodial wallet for you then, and put it up for use for other companies. So here we go. So I tap in Atomic Wallet, I tap staking, and it shows me all of the different currencies that are available to be staked. Now, Atomic Wallet, they have their own coins, the Atomic Wallet token. There are other coins. I'd stay away. Well, I mean, Tron has a very sketchy history, which is too bad. I really enjoy the Tron franchise, and I quite like the movies. I was like, hey, there's a coin called Tron. But the person who leads this is just a shady character, and stirs up a lot of issues in the crypto community unnecessarily. And so I don't even support Tron, even if there is a good return. So in fact, I don't think I'm staking too much in Atomic Wallet yet. I did a review on Atomic versus Exodus, and I placed a bunch of things in the Exodus wallet that I started staking, and I want to move it over to the Atomic, but I'm waiting for some of those returns to come back. But I'll show you on the AWC here. So I can stake it, and if I place it up for stake, which means I've taken this currency, I've committed to leaving it in the network. That enables the network to be able to use my currency that I've put up for stake to provide liquidity and whatever is needed in order for the network to work properly. And in exchange, I will be given back a portion of all the fees that are charged, kind of like a cooperative, kind of like an interest rate. And as those fees come back, I will get profits. And they're anticipating, because I only have 90 in, I'll anticipate around 17%, and I get it every week. Staking has the ability for me to purchase a token for a project that I believe in, or just a project that will provide me a percentage return, and I give them those coins, and every week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or month or whatever the validator node arrangement is, they will send me a portion of those funds. What else can you do? Well, you can speculate and trade. Number 3, speculate and trade. So let's jump over and take a look at speculating and trading. I'm not choosing to do my trades or my exchanges inside a wallet because the fees are higher than I can do it elsewhere if I do a little bit more labor. I get the convenience of using them. I stay inside one application, but really I would use an actual exchange. So let's take a look. So here's Qcoin, and it has this little thing for daily checking in to get candies. I don't know what I'm going to do with the candies. And I'll get my candies. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with them. I think it allows me to get some collectibles. It has no real value. But anyways. So if I wanted to trade in Qcoin, you'll see the interface is definitely a little bit more overwhelming. I can't just scroll and choose a token. I have to find a trading pair, and say I wanted to go and get KCS. I think those are the Qcoin tokens for them for running the app, but and I can pair it up with Ethereum. So I'm not buying in here, I'm exchanging. And so that's why I needed that on-ramp program, is I needed ShakePay to be able to buy the Ethereum. Now that I've bought the Ethereum, now I have a cryptocurrency and I can enter into the crypto world and I can start trading for other coins. Maybe a coin that I want to stake. Maybe I'm like, hey, I really want to stake this whatever coin, so I need to get some and I'll use it in an exchange. Some exchanges have more than others. If you really wanted to get into the staking or any of these other speculative kind of stuff, you're not going to be able to do it in Coinbase. You're going to have to use IDEX or Qcoin or Binance to be able to do that. Binance is owned by a big Chinese organization. Qcoin is Singapore. Coinbase is American. So anyways, that's a different video. You can check out where I compare the exchanges. And what you're looking for is something that's going to go to the moon, something that's going to 10 times or 100 times or 1,000 times its value in a short amount of time. Okay, so this is an exchange. And if I jump over to, say, Binance, this is their exchange. I bring up the trade view. And I can also buy and sell. Now, one of the things I found with Binance is you pretty much have to do everything using their coin. So you turn whatever cryptocurrency or altcoin that you have into the BNB, and then using the BNB coin that they have, it's kind of like their internal money. You can buy something else. Think of it as, I don't know, Fortnite's really popular right now, so let's think about it as like their in-game currency is V-Bucks. Let's just imagine that you could buy things in Fortnite and then also return things and get your V-Bucks back. If you did any kind of in-game currency, crowns in Elder Scrolls Online or whatever, imagine you can buy the things with those crowns or with that in-game currency and then sell those things and get in-game currency back. That's basically how these exchanges work, like Binance. You can buy a bunch of Binance coins and then inside the exchange get whatever other tokens you want. You can take those tokens, trade them off, sell them to someone else, or stake them or do whatever you want, or come back to the exchange, sell them back and get your Binance coins out. And of course, at any point, you can sell and get cash. But you wouldn't do that in the exchange. You would do that in the wallet. And then I would bring the wallet and come back to ShakePay and do an e-transfer out. So it's both an on-ramp and an off-ramp. Inside these exchanges, you can do some more technical analysis, and I'm very new at this, but I'm going to tap the candlesticks. And so here I can see this is the Bitcoin according to the US dollars, and it looks like we had a high there just recently of 10,300 American. That's in the last day, so that's not an all-time high, but it's definitely a more recent peak that's happened. And down at the bottom, I can see the volume. So you can get into some technical analysis and start looking for momentum, start looking for high volume, start getting a sense of what's happening. You don't just use, say, an exchange to turn one currency into another currency. There are other websites. Let me show you a website. So changenow.io, this is the one that I had to use in order to turn my Atomic Wallet coins into stakeable Atomic Wallet coins. And there's no fee. They have some sort of arrangement with Atomic in order to do that. But normally there'd be fees if you wanted to change one currency into another. And the fees are actually fairly high because this is one of these ones that you don't have to use any KYC. You can put in whatever coin you're wanting to put in. And let's say I want to send XRP Ripple. And I want to get, they don't have too many choices, but I'll say XLM. And they'll do the exchange, but there will be an anticipated fee. I would not use Change Now for that kind of thing. I did use it though for the AWC because of, it didn't cost anything, and it was the only way I could figure out how to do it. But you pay for the ability to be anonymous. I read some of the reviews, and people were upset about it, but it looks like it's more just people not using it properly. All right, I'm going to show, this is another one, IDEX. This is a truly decentralized exchange. It doesn't have the kind of volume that Binance and Coinberry or Coinbase have, but it does have a lot of the hard-to-find coins, and I quite enjoy using IDEX to find some of the hard-to-find coins. So let's talk about some other speculations. So you may have heard or read about the fact that Facebook is looking at getting into cryptocurrency. I mean, here's the reality. Everyone's getting into cryptocurrency. Governments are looking at doing it. The banks do it. Video games are looking at doing it, and so on. And here's some of the reasons why. If you are a bank and you want to move money from one location to another location, you currently have to use something called SWIFT. That is a European organization that helps banks keep track of their ledgers to ensure where the money is and who has the money. So, of course, SWIFT is slow and charges a lot of money. So if you're a bank and you want to move funds from one bank to another bank and you want to do it quickly and you want to do it cheaply, you use cryptocurrency. Because moving $1 million or moving $10 is going to cost 26 cents or whatever the network fee is. So there's no like high commission rate percentage that way. And it's very quick and it's incredibly secure. So there's these uses for it. You then get excited and want to buy in on it. But here's the problem. When it comes to these kind of trading, you have such high volatility. And you take a look at Facebook wanting to do this coin called Libra, possibly. You think about Facebook, well, they've got their marketplace and people are buying and selling things. Hey, wouldn't it be nice if I just was able to have some, instead of in-game currency, in social media platform currency, whatever they decide to call it. But and then I can like your post, or I can, you type up some sort of really nice thing, and or you have some sort of tragedy in your life. I'm like, hey, I'm going to send you some money, but I don't want to get into like an e-transfer or some sort of thing like that. I just want to send you $1 or send you $10. Well, I could just do it within my social media platform. So to be able to send and receive money, no matter where you are, you live in some country that I have no idea how I'd ever, we've become friends because we both like to, we have this common connection, and I want to send you $20 just as like for your birthday. But I don't know, you're in Turkey or something. Well, I don't even know what the currency in Turkey is. I don't even know how I would send that to you. I'd have to wire transfer it. It would never happen. Well, I can't e-transfer it to you because you don't have the same banking system that I have. Well, but we're friends on social media. Actually, an example, I just connected with a relative of mine in Australia. I don't know how I'd send them $20. Well, if there was a Facebook cryptocurrency, I could send them $20. Except it's not going to just be some sort of highly speculative, highly volatile currency. It'll be what's called a stable coin. So stable coins are crypto tokens or crypto coins that are pegged to, I don't even want to say real world because is money real? I don't know. Is pegged to something. So let's say it's pegged to the Canadian dollar. QCAD is a pegged cryptocurrency that's worth $1. $1 in Canada. It's not going to go up. It's not going to go down. It's set at that value. Here, I'll go to Newton. I'll show you. So you have the USD coin. It's worth $1.37, 0%, because that's American stable coin. If you look down at the bottom, QCAD, that is Canadian. Now it's $1 because that's their spread. If I wanted to buy, it would be $1. If I wanted to sell, it would be like 99 cents or whatever. So they charge a penny on each way, a 1% fee on buying or selling it. But that would be a way for me to send you $20 Canadian and know that it's $20 when I'm sending it to you, and it's $20 when you receive it. These stable coins are become quite popular. Paytree is a Canadian based stablecoin trading platform, if you want, for lack of a better word, that if you're interested in getting the stable coins. I haven't played around with them too much. I did join their community, so just so I can learn about why would a person want stable coins. I've been struggling with that, and I'm starting to understand more. It's a way for me to send a certain amount of money or have a transaction using the blockchain, using the cryptocurrency benefits without having any kind of slippage or changing. I don't want it to be that I owe you $20, and so I send you $20 in ETH, and then you get that ETH, and it's like all of a sudden now it's only worth $10 because there's been some sort of big crash. So stable coins provide that stability against the volatility. So anyways, you can speculate. Part of the reason, though, that there's so much volatility in the cryptocurrency world is something called pumps and dumps. And people who have lots of cryptocurrency, these early people that got into Bitcoin and they have a few thousand Bitcoin or whatever, or just people that have lots of money and they've bought all kinds of this new up and coming token. Let's say they bought a whole bunch of Stellar or something like that. What I'm going to do here is launch CoinCap Markets, just so I can show you an example. So I'm not saying that these are pumps and dumps. They don't look exactly like a pump and dump, but what they do is they have so much money or currency, they start driving the price up, and they start driving it up. They get people excited about it, and just as everyone else starts to get excited about this climb as it goes up and up in value, a whole bunch of other people start buying in because it looks like it's going to happen, and then they start dumping other stock as soon as enough people have bought in. And so they drive the price up, get other people to buy in, and then sell it just as a peak, and they're in control of that, and then they walk away with the profits. And those people are called whales, people that have lots of money or currency and able to control the price of something to some extent. In a regulated environment, in the stock market, that's illegal. I mean, it still happens, but it is illegal, and there's consequences. A little harder to identify in the crypto world, but things are happening, and if you're part of communities, you'll know what's going on and see that there's a pump and dump happening. So again, don't give into FOMO, that fear of missing out. Be diligent, and do your own research. You'll see that being said lots before you get into anything. So I mentioned that Australian company, Rocket Pool. So if you look at back what I was talking about with the validators and the ability for all these computers to be connected and to monitor these financial transactions, but that the mining process used so much electricity, and that we're going over to this idea of proof of stake, which is faster and cheaper and doesn't require as much electricity. There's going to be this Ethereum 2.0, and it'll come out at some point, whether it's this year or next year. And when it comes out, it'll be a transition for a year or so. But there's going to be a need for lots of these node computers set up, and you need, I think it's 16 or 32 Ethereum in order to run this node, which ends up being like $10,000. So it must be like 32 ETH, which ends up being like $10,000 worth of ETH, plus the computer, plus the labor to keep it going. Well, some people are really good at maintaining computers and maintaining nodes. Other people are good at buying things. So Rocket Pool is putting those people together and saying, well, I don't have much money, but I want to be able to support ETH 2.0. So I'll put in $100 worth of ETH, and you put in $100 worth of ETH, and they put in $100 worth of ETH. And Rocket Pool is going to have a decentralized model where they'll distribute that ETH all around to these different nodes that other people are signing up to run on nodes. And it'll help things scale, help things just be that much better in this next iteration of the Ethereum network. And so I bought in on some RPL. So if I pull up RPL, I can see that in the last 90 days, it's gone from being worth 66 cents. Let's look at the last year. Just 1 year ago, $1, 70 cents. So it was worth about $1, 70 cents a year ago. Even 90 days ago, it was worth 80 cents or so on. And in and around May, kind of the Bitcoin halving and the fact that it's going to be harder and harder to get Bitcoin, more and more expensive to get Bitcoin. Also, some of the announcements and progress that was happening with the ETH 2.0. This coin has really jumped up in value and hit $4.50 for a moment, hit $4.90, and for the last 30 days has just been steadily declining. So if you were like me and you bought up in here, you now lost about 25% of the money you spent. I think I spent like $70, so not a huge amount, but still it's like, oh, I should have waited. Or I truly believe in it and I'm maybe going to buy in and say that this is a buying opportunity because in the long run this is going to be an important token. Reading the forums and getting involved more and more so, there's just some confusion as what is the value of the token and what will it be worth and what role will it play. So some of these questions still need to be answered. But maybe this will go up, maybe this will go down. This is the joy of a highly volatile market, and that's why you don't put in more than you can afford. So right now, all of this, though, is happening on what is called a test net. So they're setting up these nodes, they're running the programs and seeing if it works. They're looking for bugs and they're fixing things. So delays are not necessarily a bad thing. Delays mean they're finding problems and they're fixing the problems. And that when it goes to be actually live and being used, what they call a main net, it will work that much better. But I really think the rocket pool concept is a great concept, and I think Ethereum 2.0 will happen. And so I'm bullish, as they say. I have a positive outlook towards those things. I also am excited about IDEX. This is one that I'm wanting to buy into. So IDEX is kind of like a completely decentralized exchange, as I was saying earlier, with some of those alternative coins. And they're releasing a new version of their platform. It's still purely web-based. Would love to see an app-based interface for IDEX. I think that would make a big difference. But this is also a coin that I'm wanting to get into. The price has been going up and up, and I'm trying to decide if I want to buy in now. It's already gone up 100% in the last month, so it's doubled in value. It's at almost 5 cents. So it's low enough price that it's like, yeah, maybe I should just buy $30 worth and see if I can turn that into 300. Maybe take a year or so. Bitcoin, the Bitcoin blockchain is by far the largest, most dominant blockchain, but not the only blockchain. Ethereum also, and it's the next big contender for blockchain. And then there are other blockchains that are starting to exist. And some of these other blockchains are starting to exist sort of like a separate but connected way. So you might be, well, I'm going to use this other blockchain. I think Neo maybe is another blockchain. I haven't done too much searching. But on there, you do your transactions and then you tie it to the Ethereum blockchain. And you're starting to get these layerings happen, which might provide opportunity for scalability or for specific tasks. Use the strengths of each thing, or it'll just be a muddled mess and the whole thing will come collapsing down and there'll be one survivor. So, okay, next we're going to look at donating and lending crypto. So one of the questions that I've been asking myself is, how can I use blockchain or be part of how blockchain is making the world a better place? And I ended up getting the Uphold wallet and found a page on there of ways that you can lend or use your blockchain in a positive way. I've posted on a few forums too, trying to find suggestions, and I haven't really found too much. Most people are looking to find the next coin that's going to go to the moon and get their 1,000 times return, or just find ways that they can buy more and more and more to hold and or stake, so that down the road it might be worth lots, sort of in a 5-year plan. And fair enough, it is in the infancy stages, at the beginning of the internet with bulletin board services and whatnot. Good things were happening, but nothing like you see nowadays with some of these fundraising campaigns and really positive things that happen with the internet. I did come across this though, and I'm very interested in pursuing this further. So it's called Bitbuy, and It's basically a way that you can use cryptocurrencies to lend money, some micro loans for women in various African nations, and enable them to start a project. So this lady here wants to start a project where she's growing button mushrooms, and this person wants to get into some cattle farming, free-range chickens, and so on. So they often just need a little bit of money to be able to, like that capital to get started. And then once it's going, once you have your chickens and they're laying and you have your rooster, well, now you can sell those eggs and you've got a little bit of business going and so on. But they just need that startup sort of venture capital money, but not because it's going to be a huge amount of profits, but because you're going to make a positive difference in this person's life and enable them to feed their family or to be able to live and survive. So I'm not really endorsing this. I'm still in the do your own research phase of this Bitbuy. What I'm hoping though is let me just click view more on one of these. Let me click register. So these farm contracts. Oh, look at that! It's powered by the Neo blockchain. So remember I was talking earlier about the Bitcoin blockchain being the first, and the Ethereum blockchain that the vast majority of everything else is being built on. And this one here is being built on the Neo blockchain. But I think the Neo and the ETH communicate somehow. I have to learn a bit more about that. But either way, you somehow register and can submit some coins. I'm not fully sure how this exactly works, but I'm really hopeful that, like staking my coins, this is something where I could say, all right, I'm just going to make my coins and my Neo or whatever it will be available. They can borrow against it. They can have that difference in their life, and when they're done, then I get my funds back. And even if there's no profit, if I've just simply provided the liquidity and to enable someone else to make this positive change somewhere completely else in the world, I really like that idea. On one of the forums, I asked about this, and some troll kind of was like, well, why don't you make a difference in your own world? Why don't you stop trying to profit off the internet? And I do try locally to be involved with lots of positive things. It's part of who I am. And so consequently, I want to find ways that I can make a positive change in everything that I'm involved in, including cryptocurrency. So I would love to see some comments down below of other projects, worthwhile projects that I should check out. I'm not going to blindly go into it. Please don't direct message me. I'm not interested in Nigerian princes that need to move their money, and if I just send them some money, I'll get some in return. There's lots of scams and lots of ways to lose money. I'm going to do my due diligence, and so. But this is one that is looking very promising. So, and if you have supported Bitbuy and have some information for me, please comment about that too. I'd be very interested. Okay, next, communities. So, an important part of cryptocurrency and the whole realm that I'm enjoying and getting interested in is the community aspect of it. I'm starting to meet a few people. I don't have any sort of set people that I've had back and forth conversation, but I'm definitely enjoying the communities that I'm starting to join in. I don't actually participate in Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok or WhatsApp, but I download the apps and I create an account and you play around with it. But then if I get all these notifications, I'm not too interested in it. For the most part, though, it seems like Reddit, Discord, and Telegram are the main social media apps to be using or to be part of or to have accounts with in order to communicate with other crypto users. Discord requires you to have a link, and sometimes when you search online, you will find a group that's there. So I've joined this one here, decentralization, the IDEX group. Keep is something I've just joined. I'm a little bit curious about it. Maybe, I don't know. We're going to see where that leads. What's this one? Qchain, of course, for Qcoin. Paytree, I was mentioning earlier about the stable coins and everything that they're doing. This is a Canadian-based stable coin company I'm quite interested in. Here's Rocket Pool, that Australian for the ETH 2.0, and Uniswap. Uniswap, another way to exchange tokens and coins to get those hard to find tokens, and they're really good. I'm quite enjoying trying to get into these communities and slowly make some connections. Telegram is a bit more like a chat kind of thing. And Qcoin is on Telegram, and so is Atomic Wallet. But it's kind of just these posted chats. On Reddit, a lot of people talk about Telegram as really great and wonderful, but I'm not loving it. I actually kind of prefer the Discord. I find it a little bit more organized and a little more easy to figure out what's going on. Only one uses Slack. I think Slack was popular a while back, but it's kind of not anymore. Newton is using Slack, and they kind of only just recently revived it. But they don't have many members on here. It's not as active as a community as a person would want. And of course, Reddit. Now, Reddit, I want to show you something that leads us into the next area that we're going to talk about. So as you see this sort of Twitter feed get off zero, this push for lots of people to be getting into the crypto world, check this out. So I make a couple posts on Atomic, and I get this. Atomic Wallet support wants to chat. Well, this brings up the sixth way that you can use your crypto, and that is get scammed. So here's these are totally a scam. So if I click on one of these, it says, Atomic Wallet support, you haven't chatted with this person. It says, hello, we're happy you selected Atomic Wallets. We're one of the most secure wallets. Have you been able to claim your rewards? If I go and accept this and start talking to them, if I look at the top here, they've got zero karma. This is not actually Atomic Wallet support. This is totally a scam. And I'm going to answer them, however I answer them, and then they're going to want to lead me through the process of giving them my seed phrase or my information of some sort, and so they can empty my Atomic Wallet and take all my funds. So do not get involved with direct messages. This will only lead to you losing your money. A phishing scam, basically, is what it is. Avoid direct messages. If you want to talk to Atomic Wallet, then go over to the Atomic Wallet group and have a conversation here. Okay? And see how it goes. If it can't be public, then it's not going to work. See here, look at this. They even got a big warning. Beware of scam. Atomic Wallet support is trying to get people's 12-word phrase and private keys. They DM you pretending to be customer support. But if in the heat of the moment I was excited and I sent that information, it would all be gone. Another reason to not store all your crypto just in a light wallet. Okay, you want to be using hardware wallets, which I haven't got yet because I only have a few $100s invested in right now. But definitely going to want to be getting a hardware wallet where I put the funds, I tuck it away, and it sits there, and I don't use it. Okay, kind of like a bank account until it grows in value, or I actually do need to use it, and then I'll use it in a way that I don't get scammed. So, highly recommend joining communities and doing your research to avoid getting scammed. In YouTube, I came across Voscoin, and this guy is great. He explains everything mining-wise, and what I really like about him is he's non-judgmental. He's not a purist of any sort. He just outlines things from a realistic point of view. He tries different things. I really like his video. Now, I'm not really interested in mining and that side of things, mainly because I just don't have the reliable internet connection or the startup money to do it. I would love to actually be running a bit of a mining operation or a validator. I think for me, I'd be quite interested in running a validator and earning some income that way. It's not a huge amount of income, but I think that would really align with my interest and my skill set. My internet connection is not stable enough, and I don't have the money to comfortably put into doing this. So maybe when I'm older, I'll take that on. But if you're looking for a YouTube channel, Voscoin, I definitely recommend. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple sites where you can get scammed on. Okay, so this is a scam site, bitcoinsell.org. It has, and you look at the top of the address, it's got the lock, it's got a HTTPS. It even uses Google authentication in order to be able to log in. And it is set up for you to be able to buy Libra. Now, Libra's not out yet. Remember I was talking about that Facebook cryptocurrency to be able to buy and sell things and send money within Facebook, but it's also completely centralized and controlled by Facebook. So they shouldn't be calling it a cryptocurrency. They should be calling it, I think we need a phrase for, how you have in-game currency. We need a in-social media platform currency name. So whatever that's going to be called. But if anyways, they want to develop this. It's not available yet. It'll be a while. I did end up almost getting fully duped by this, though. In the rush and the excitement of Libra, I didn't know anything about stable coins, so it wasn't even really a big opportunity. But this is what's called an ICO, an initial coin offering. And to do an ICO, you have to link a wallet and send some money. And in the process of sending that money, you will get those tokens in exchange. And it's often at a discounted rate. This one here says they're going to be offering it at like 3-to-1 or something. It's totally a scam. This is a scam site. If I go in and start to go in the site a little bit deeper, and say I go to the main site, if I go a little bit deeper, it's like, let's go to the FAQs. Let's see what here, FAQ. What do I get? Frequently asked questions. That's it. There's nothing in the FAQ. If I go into the how to buy, it takes me to this one little paragraph. Buy Libra, designed to have a stable and reliable value widely accepted around the world. Buy in before it's too late. Log in with your email password and then go to buy token. Terms and conditions. Your coin wallet terms and conditions. That's it. That's all it says. And you do a little bit more digging, you start to realize this is just a shell of a website that is designed to get me to send money to this wallet, wherever their wallet is, and upload my personal information, the note KYC. So, scam website, be very careful. In fact, some of these websites are even better than this. They fully replicate an existing website. You get in there, you put a username, your password, and looking up at the top to see that it's a secure website is not enough. So be careful out there. All right, number 7, do things. So cryptocurrencies are fungible assets. If I go to the store and I buy something, I'm going to get 50 cents change. They're going to reach in, they're going to take 2 quarters, and they're going to give me those 2 quarters. And I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't want this quarter. Can you give me that quarter? Because that quarter is different. Now, they are different. They have a different year on them, and they are slightly different. But in and themselves, they're fully stackable. 1 quarter, my quarter, your quarter, same quarter. They're fungible. Not all things, though, are fungible. When you get into a video game, maybe you can get a skin, and all the skins look the same. On my character, your character, they all look the same. Or maybe I can custom design my skin, and my skin looks different than your skin. And I can do other things, so it's unique. Maybe there's still value there, but it's unique looking. So these are non-fungible assets. Now, you will have seen that little pop-up that just came there. I'm using the Brave web browser. Really enjoying this Brave web browser. It's basically like Chrome. I can put on Chrome extensions, but by using it, I have way less advertising. And the advertising I do receive, I earn the funds. So I get paid as opposed to Google getting paid for the advertising that happens and the minimal amount that happens. And I get BAT tokens, and I'm just right now letting it pile. I can't get the Brave web browser sync to work. It looks like we're in the middle between version 1 and version 2 of a sync feature. So each device that I have a Brave on is kind of earning its own tokens. And I still have to figure out how to get it all to sync and centralize. But I mean, after like 2 weeks, I think I've earned 30 cents on one browser and 20 cents on another browser. I might be at $1. But hey, if I can earn $1 or $2 a month just by doing my web browsing with a different web browser, one that's more secure, more decentralized and supports, then this is a thing that I can do. Something else I can do is Decentraland. A few years ago, started getting their emails, and I was very interested in Decentraland. I just can't afford it, frankly. It's a whole 3D virtual world that you can go into and create, build things as like you would in other virtual 3D worlds, but it's multiple people can be on at the same time. So you have all these other people, and you can interact with them. And I think right now they're having some sort of art fair competition or whatnot. A while back it was an axe throwing competition. So it has a social component, and it's a 3D virtual world that you can be in. I really like the idea. It's fully free to go in and just explore and be part of it. However, to actually buy some land and start building and create your own space in there is just something I haven't been able to figure out how to afford. It's sort of at a couple $100, and I have a hard time paying like $30 for a video game. But this is more than a video game; it's a social component. But so Decentraland, though I am very very interested in it. Of course, if you look up crypto kitties, it was a way that you could on the blockchain make unique cats and kittens and accessories, and you could gift those things or trade them with other people in a whole world. There's a few companies out there, and they're now enabling you to have an app that you can, I think in Australia and a few places, you can buy Coca-Cola. So the vending machines, you can just tap your phone and use your cryptocurrency to buy things, and then pops your pop, and you can use it. So all of these interfaces are doing what's called dApps. Okay, they're using dApps. These are these applications that run on top of the Ethereum network, and I really think this is the future of the internet. You look at the category number 8, real world problems that can be solved. I mentioned about how the banks need to move money back and forth, and they use XRP. I talked about a little bit about perhaps how you want to have a vote. Like you look at the voting system and online voting. Well, if everyone was given their one coin or their one vote, when you use that vote, you can't duplicate it. The blockchain prevents that. And I can't give it to someone else because they'll be at a different address, and you'll see that it's coming from a different wallet. So if every person had one wallet with one vote, they could vote from anywhere in the world and be part of a democracy. So I think it's going to solve some things there. You look at the medical records of organizations and your hospitals. They got all these different platforms, and they struggle with security and privacy. Well, blockchain will enable you or enable companies to move and track and secure digital information. So if you have digital information and you need it private, you need it secure, blockchain is going to be the solution. So this is the next direction of the internet I see. You look at companies like Visa trying to manage hundreds of thousands of transactions every day, wanting to keep the fees low. They charge several percent for that. If they could get that down to just a few pennies per transaction, they'd be able to reduce their fees and be a major competitor against, say, MasterCard or some of the other credit card companies. The unbanked of the world. There are hundreds and hundreds of millions of people that have no bank, no credit card, but do have a cell phone. Many of these developing countries, they leapfrogged over the whole infrastructure phase of having like telephone lines and connected houses. The political environment and the military environment is not stable enough in order to have a whole bunch of connected wires. So they have cell towers though, and they have mobile devices, and these people need to be part of the growth and the bettering of the world and financial freedom. So if you're in Venezuela and you buy a loaf of bread, and then in a short amount of time that loaf of bread is 10 times more expensive, but you didn't get a 10 times increase in your wages, what are you going to do? Well, being tied to the blockchain and using a cryptocurrency, you're going to be stable, and you're able to, as long as you have a mobile phone and you're connected, you can send and receive funds. So those are some real problems that are being solved. I want to show you one more problem that I'm quite curious about, and that is the Theta network. This might be totally just a scam. This might be a Ponzi scheme, Ponzi schemes are very popular in the realm of cryptocurrency. If you think about, I get some people to buy into whatever token, I promise them a return of some sort, and as long as other people start buying in, I can take the money from them, give that to the first people for their return. They then start putting more money in, and as people put money in for a locked amount of time, I can keep paying the people that are expecting their return, and I let it grow and grow and grow until I start to feel the house of cards fall, where I can't take the new money and give it to the people that are still wanting their money, in which case I pull the plug and I take all the money and run. So I need more time to do some research on this Theta coin, but it's a very interesting idea. If you look at network congestion for streaming video of the internet, it's still somewhat centralized. Even though there's multiple servers and multiple locations, it's still difficult to send video through the whole network, and it's getting more and more congested. And they're trying to upgrade and build 5G, and they're trying to do all these things in order to increase the capacity. And so it kind of piggybacks peer-to-peer file exchange with video streaming. So I take my hard drive, I make it available 100 gigs worth of movies or videos from whatever streaming, Netflix or whatever, and it's all encrypted. I can't see it, but I provide that hard drive space. I run this node, and now if somebody on the internet needs access to the videos, maybe they use my internet connection, and my computer acts as a little mini server to distribute videos. I like the idea. I wouldn't be able to do it where I live because I don't have a fast enough internet connection, but it's an interesting idea. Same thing happening with the file exchange token. The file exchange token, this Theta token, very curious about them. Not putting any money into them yet till I do more research. But if you do have some solid articles that you can post me to on file exchange tokens or the Theta video tokens, that is reputable. I am curious about them, and really any other real world problems that are being potentially solved or improved through the use of blockchain or cryptocurrency. I'm quite interested. Okay, one last thing with cryptocurrency I'm going to share. This is a bonus round, number 9, bonus thing that can be done, and that is the old standard stock exchange. So if you're not a whale and you're like me and you don't have huge amounts of funds that you can start investing into things, I highly recommend getting the WealthSimple Trade app and creating a tax-free savings account inside of that if you're Canadian. And within that, you can buy Canadian-based companies that are involved with the mining and proof of stake and basically cryptocurrencies. And so I have found 3 that I have bought some stake into. So there's Hive, based out of Vancouver, and you can see so far I have lost $9 in my $97 worth, my 300 shares of Hive. But this is a long hold for me. I'm kind of diversifying. I've done Hive, I've done Bitfarms. I have $45 in there. I've lost $2. And I have Hut 8, a mining corporation, and I have lost $3.60 there. But I'm counting on, this is, so there's like $200 there. I'm counting on in the next 2 to 3 years, one of these ones going from being a 50-cent dollar stock to being a $20 stock. It's like the horse races. It's not really gambling, it's betting. There's a slight difference, ever so slight. You know, you buy the 649 ticket, you got 1 in 32 million odds. You're not going to win, but you never know, you might. You spin the wheel, or those things are totally random based outcomes. And that I kind of put in the realm of gambling. There's probably some technical word for it. You're not going to win. You got to be realistic about it. You do it for fun. You do it for pleasure. However, horse races and these kind of things, you do all your research. You get to know the variables, and through that whole process, you then narrow down your choices. And so basically, I'm keeping it to Canadian companies because of the WealthSimple Trade app and the that are being traded on the main exchanges. And I'm betting on all the horses, and hoping that one of them will more than triple in value. And as long as it more than triples, it'll offset the losses on the other ones. And it also is one other way that I can be involved. So number 9, invest with your old fiat currency in the publicly traded companies. And yeah, that's just a really long hold on this. I hope this has been informative for you, and at least for me, it's been a way for me to summarize a lot of what I've been learning and what I've been thinking about, and getting it into one spot. Glancing at my notes here, there's a few things that I didn't mention that maybe I will just sort of in the end reel just sort of talk about. MetaMask is an add-on extension that you can put onto your web browser, in particular your Brave web browser, that allows you to have kind of like a mobile crypto wallet, so you can access your crypto wallet while you're in your web browser. Quite liking MetaMask, worth checking out. Airdrops. This is where there's a promotion of some sort, you do something, you provide your public key, not your private key, your public key, and you'll see, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see, every now and then I'm like, at Atomic Wallet, I posted that I was staking AWC, and I retweeted their tweet, and I've been entered into a bit of a draw, and all of a sudden I might check into my wallet and there'll be more coins in there, and they'll just send it to my public key. They call that an airdrop. Be careful with the airdrops. Lots of reading about scams. So don't share your passwords and your 12-word seed phrase. That's basically the rule. Just get that ingrained in your head. But when you are logging into an app, you have to put in a secondary code. Don't use SMS, the texting, for your two-factor validation, because if somebody steals your phone, or it gets your phone number ported over to them, to their SIM card, once they have a password, they can log in, they'll start receiving the texts, and you won't realize it for a certain amount of time. Use Google Authenticator or Authy or something like that for your two-factor authentication whenever you have that choice or ability. There we go. I think that summarizes everything that I wanted to talk about, that I've been learning, and thank you for listening if you're still online.